Muy bien. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas bueno, sí, buenas noches. No hay luz, no hay,
Sí,
there's no light, no hay luz. Buenas noches. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you guys are well. We're going to start. Here's our segment from now till winding up to the holidays. I think it's around the middle of December, somewhere 17th,
yes.
out for the last class. Um, Excelente. I have a little plan for this evening, but of course, as our weeks churn by, that will change depending on the materials that are available to me, depending on what requests you guys have. And we're going to be working on something that was a student request, actually, that came in a couple weeks back. And it's a review thing. You may have heard of it before if and still find it confusing. You may have never heard of it and said, I didn't know that was a thing, but it is. And we'll check it out and we'll see lots of examples of it. Uh, primero, first. Uh, y para Melissa, especialmente para Melissa, reminder that the day after class, I sent a recap email. It has the link for the YouTube link for this recording so that if you miss class, you can go watch the class or watch only parts of it that you need to. It will
Okay.
have all the links for any video we watched during class,
Oh,
any file we used during class, any links to videos and stuff I want you to watch to prep for
mhm.
next week. Okay?
Great.
Bien. So you always get a recap the next day. Bam, 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 bam. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Ok. Adelante, adelante. Ah, vale la pena, creo. I think it's worth it. Ver algo. This is a video from a guy, and Pat, you're really going to appreciate his opening or this is a video from a guy who actually is one of those whizzes that knows like, I don't know, 7 or 8 languages and studies how to learn languages. And has a company with some website material on learning languages. And he has some interesting insights more towards the end, but you'll be able to relate to the beginning. So we're going to start with something, and this is just food for thought of thinking about how to approach the videos that we watch during and after class, how to approach listening comprehension, because listening comprehension is the first step of language learning and the most crucial step, and nothing else can progress until you really get in the swing with listening comprehension. But we have hitches even with that. We have hitches with speaking, we have hitches with listening. And he has an interesting way to approach this, which is just a little bit different. So we're going to watch that. And then we're going to um, kind of have a mini lesson on the word llevar. And we're going to tie the use or the many uses of that word llevar into examples and a little mini lesson, and then you're going to have some questions that you get time to prep and ponder and use for conversation next week when you come to class. Okay. Bien, pero primero vamos a escuchar algo de un profesional en el mundo de idiomas. He really is a professional. Pueden ver el hombre en
Uh,
la camiseta morada, el purple t-shirt, ¿sí?
mhm.
¿Lo
I've
pueden
seen
ver?
him
Ok,
on Facebook.
Sí.
ok, bien. El hombre con la barba, ¿verdad? Con la barba, with the beard. Ok.
Barbara.
Bien, bien, bien.
You can form sentences. You can express your ideas.
You can go to a cafe in Paris, Madrid, or Tokyo and you confidently order your coffee. But the moment the native speaker replies at a natural speed, you're completely lost. It sounds alien to you, almost like some...
Because you've scripted how to order a coffee. You've scripted that in your mind. You're okay with that. You're okay with asking for the bill. But then they respond something back to you and it's not what your brain scripted it would be.
Someone is summoning a demon. So you go back to your safe zone and hop on a conversation with a tutor, and still you struggle following the conversation. One moment it's all clicking, and the next you're just nodding and smiling, wondering what in the world I just said and whether or not they noticed that lonely bead of sweat dripping down your forehead. Does that sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone, and it's not your fault.
And it's not your fault. Well, there you go.
Keep watching to figure out how to prevent this from happening ever again. My name is Luca Lampariello. I'm a language lover, coach, and entrepreneur, and I've been helping hundreds of thousands of people learn foreign languages more efficiently and in a fun way. Now, let me tell you that the I do not understand problem is maybe the most common one. Back in the day when I was learning English and French, it was not only a very big problem, but also one of my biggest fears. I always imagined the worst case scenario of getting lost in a conversation, thinking that if I did not understand something, I would literally explode and my soul would leave my body. That happened across basically all of my languages, but the difference now is that I know it's part of the process. It's inevitable and I just have to power through it. But you can do that the smart way or the not so smart way. I'm going to break down exactly why that happens and give you a 3-step system to train your ears to finally catch up with your mouth. The system is not about more drills. It's about a fundamental shift in how you approach learning. And because I want you to start right away, I put together a practical guide.
Okay, so we're going to pass the self-promotion, which is okay.
Yeah. Well, there are 3 main reasons. First, you've fallen into what I call the output first trap. Many learners, especially confident ones, focus almost exclusively on production.
Some people do focus on just, I need to learn words, vocabulary words. I need to speak immediately. And that's kind of hard to do, but some people focus on that. And that's what he means when he talks about output. Output is the ability to speak. I mean, in some cases, it might be writing in a business setting, but for most people, it's speaking.
You practice speaking, you do language exchanges, you work on your accent. This is all great, and it trains the production part of your brain. But here's the thing. The skill of producing language is neurologically different from the skill of decoding it. You've been training for a marathon, but you've only ever trained your arms. You need to train your legs, your listening muscles, separately and with the same dedication. The second reason is what I call the clean versus messy language problem. The language you're used to listening to in language learning materials is often slow, clear, and unnatural.
Hola, ¿este banco está libre?
Sí, claro, siéntate.
Gracias, hace calor aquí, ¿no?
That is not how native speakers actually speak.
Yes, that is not how they speak. Okay, and those videos legitimately do slow things down so that you can understand it. Okay, because immediately if you try to listen to just any old kind of podcast or video or music, just anything off the cuff, and you've been out of the game, let's say, or, if they're going at a very, very native pace, it's going to feel kind of uncomfortable. And that is a normal way for it to be. But, people speak quickly. We do that in English, except we don't realize that's what we're doing in English.
Native speech is messy by any stretch of the imagination.
Y esto es un programa en español. Si no hablas español, en la próxima palabra te largas. ¿Me entendiste? Y no hablas español, te largas.
Sí, señora.
It is packed with slang, reductions like gonna for going to. What?
Yeah, all language is packed with slang and shortcuts and abbreviating words or abbreviating phrases.
Instead of,
makes it
what
messy.
Is that called? Just to name a couple of examples in American English. You've become fluent in textbook language, but you're still a beginner in real world language. And that gap is where the confusion lives. And the third and perhaps most important reason is the listening skill illusion. We tend to think of listening as a passive skill, a skill that will just magically come with time. We think if I just watch enough Netflix, if I just live in the country long enough, my brain will eventually absorb it. But I'm here to tell you that that is a myth, unfortunately. Listening is not passive.
And there's the key right there. Listening is not passive. All right. So to jump immediately from an environment as we are in, where English is your 24/7 environment, um, into being able to understand and produce Spanish right away is a myth. It takes work, and listening, for your listening to get better, it has to become an active form of listening. And he's going to explain how that, the steps he has used that might help you. And you probably do some of it already, but you may not do it in this exact sequence.
It's an active skill that requires specific focus training, just like speaking or learning grammar. You would not expect to play the piano but just by sitting in a concert hall, would you? You have to sit down and train your fingers. And the same is true for your lovely, oddly shaped ears. Don't worry, this training will not make you look like a creature from Avatar. Okay, so we have our diagnosis. What now? The cure begins not with a technique, but with a powerful mindset shift. You need to stop being a passive listener and become an active decoder. The biggest mistake learners make is thinking that more passive exposure is the answer. You put on a podcast while you're working or have a movie playing in the background, hoping for fluency through osmosis.
Oh, yeah, that osmosis thing. It's like my dad thought I understood how to change oil in a car because I'd seen him do it, but I wasn't paying attention. Or he thought I understood how to change a tire on a car because, well, you were around when I changed a couple of flats on the, yeah, but I wasn't paying attention. I was not an active participant in that skill set. So with the listening, a lot of times they suggest, just listen a lot, just listen a lot. Get 100 hours, get 1,000 hours of listening in. But if you've got things on just in the background, it may be great if you're just playing music for pleasure, for that, and you'll pick up a few things here and there. But just having it on the background means you're not necessarily being an active listener. Okay. And so, and notice he didn't say a translator, but he did use the word decoding. So decoding is a thing, but translating is not
It's
necessarily.
highly inefficient. Why? Well, because your brain, unable to understand the messy audio, simply tunes it out as background noise. Your new job is to become a detective for sounds. You need to actively hunt for patterns. You need to deconstruct fast speech and train your brain to recognize all the messy parts of the language we talked about. This is the reframe. Listening is not something you just absorb. It's a skill you must train systematically. And when you make the shift, everything changes. So, how do you become an active decoder? Well, you follow this 3-step system. It's simple, it's effective, and it's how I've trained my own ears in over a dozen languages. Step 1, deconstruct with transcripts, the lab work. Your first step is what I call the lab work. This is your intensive training phase. Here's how to do it. Find a short audio or video clip, about 5 to 7 minutes long, that comes with a full transcript. Podcasts with transcripts or YouTube videos with accurate captions are perfect for this. The method is this. You play the audio and you read the transcript at the same time. Let me repeat that. Read and listen simultaneously. And no, this is not cheating.
Okay, now here's where some people may disagree with him, but I think essentially he has a super valid point. A lot of people see it as cheating that you have the subtitles on, but the fact is, because you are listening to a piece of audio from a podcast or a video, and it is all novel, that is, first time you're hearing it, information, you really need some kind of a scaffolding to hold you up and make sure that you're getting the big idea. You don't want to fall into the situation of active listening means I'm translating in my brain as it's going along. You want to decode it. That means you want to get that big picture message. Now, most of you have probably turned on, especially if you're one of the old hand folks coming back to another season of classes. You're used to turning on the subtitles with YouTube. They're, because the AI prompts with scripting, with subtitles, they tend to be pretty good. I tend to say they tend to be in the 90% accuracy, sometimes even higher, sometimes less. It depends on how much slang is in a video. Sometimes it doesn't pick things up perfectly. But, most of the closed captioning picks up at least 85 to 90% of what you're listening to. And you're looking to understand the big idea. And then we're going to move on to the next step.
The goal here is not to test your comprehension, it's to train it. Your main goal is to consume a lot of content by using the written language to understand the spoken language. You're building a bridge between the clean written language you know and the messy spoken language you want to understand. You're mapping the sounds to the words. The focus should be on consuming a lot of content that is interesting and comprehensible to you. And one more thing. Reading and listening at the same time forces you to focus, which is...
So in other words, it's not the background while you're cleaning out the toilet. Yeah. Okay. So you really need to focus on it. And you want to be noticing, not translating, but noticing, this chunk of words conveys a certain idea. Okay. So translating word for word is not really your goal, but decoding, knowing what kind of information that person is communicating using that word order or that combination of words is key. And we're gonna show you everybody. We're gonna do this with a 7-minute stretch of a video later on this evening during class.
Is the most essential element of paying attention and retaining information. Step 2. Listen.
Okay, so now when you're decoding it, you're probably taking down some little notes of here's this clump of words and here's kind of the idea I think it's conveying. Okay. So, at a beginner level, not necessarily at the level you folks are on, but at a beginner level, you hear somebody saying, a Marisol le gusta el helado. And you're connecting the idea of Marisol le gusta. And you're not trying to translate to Marisol, it is pleasing to her, because we don't talk that way. You want the idea she's conveying, which is Marisol likes something. But that is the order you're going to hear those words in. Marisol le gusta. Marisol le gusta. And you make a little note indicating the idea that conveys, not necessarily a word-for-word translation.
To review, just listening. Now, after you've deconstructed, say, 10 of these...
and let me review. Step 2.
Step 2, listen to review.
Listen to review. So here's the thing. Most people will find it very, very challenging to listen to a video only one time. But once you've taken a few notes so that you kind of know where there are rocky parts, and you know where those are, and you kind of have an idea, you want to go back and listen. But it's the idea of reviewing something, maybe not right away, but go back like a day later or 2 days later and review again. Okay? And review listening for where those rocky parts are so that it flows a little bit better. Okay? But the review here can be done as a background kind of thing because you've done the harder work of sort of mapping out all the difficult parts, all the holes in the Swiss cheese.
Just listening. Now, after you've deconstructed, say, 10 of these short audio clips in your lab, you move to step 2, review. You need to expose yourself to the spoken language as much as possible. So you take all that content you already deconstructed, the content you now fully understand, and you put it on a playlist. You will re-listen to this content randomly during the day. I used to do...
And now it's okay to listen to it randomly during the day. Okay, the second or third time through.
I do this for Hungarian and Greek during my dead time, while commuting, taking a shower, burning bodies, getting or walking to get a coffee in the morning. The goal is pure exposure to the spoken language while you do other things. Here's why this is so effective. Listening to new things you do not understand is boring and extremely discouraging, but re-listening to content you have already deconstructed creates a bridge. It's enjoyable, it builds confidence, and it hammers those messy sound patterns into your long-term memory. Do this for at least 15 minutes a day and see the magic happen. Step 3, extensive listening, the real world.
But now, this step 3 is something that really happens a little bit later, and you'll see why. Step 3, extensive listening. And this means listening to things off the cuff, things that are new, things that are novel, things you have no background in, things you have not decoded ahead of time, things that you're listening to just off the cuff.
After you spend a significant amount of time in steps 1 and 2, and I recommend at least 200 hours of this kind of focused listening.
Oh, 200 hours. 200 hours is a lot of listening. 200 hours. Okay. And this is always that bridge. That 200 hours might be a threshold that is really tough for some people. It might be significantly more. It might be 500 hours. To just listen to something off the cuff that is new and you've never listened to it before, that is the next step, and that's harder because now you don't know what's coming at you and you don't have subtitles to listen to necessarily.
You can finally graduate to step 3, extensive listening, or the real world. Now, you can go back to just listening, but you're doing it with a trained ear and a new purpose. You can now put on the longer podcast to watch that TV show or listen to audiobooks. The magic is that your brain, having been systematically trained through deconstruction and review, will now be much better equipped to pick up the words and patterns in the messy stream of native speech. What were once passive, inefficient exposure has become now a form of active reinforcement. You'll start having those aha moments where you effortlessly understand a sentence that would have flown right past you before. So the system is quite simple. Deconstruct, review, and then listen extensively. If you can speak but cannot understand, the reason is clear. You haven't systematically trained the skill of decoding. The solution is not more speaking practice. You need focused, active listening practice. This is the method that closes the gap between your speaking and listening skills. This is a system that turns confusion into clarity and frustration into confidence.
Okay, so we're going to stop that there. I'll give you the link to that in case you kind of want to ponder it, if you're one of those folks who likes to ponder things over. But when some people say, oh, I listened to that video like 3 times, I still had difficulty with it. You were still in that decoding process, and that's natural and okay. Getting to that level of listening to something spontaneously. But even then, you may listen to music that way spontaneously. You don't know what's coming. But even when we listen to English songs, think of when you were a teenager and you'd hear the same song on the radio over and over again. It took a while for you to get the words memorized and to know, and there are always people who misinterpreted lyrics, yeah. Jimi Hendrix. Okay, I'll say no more. Anyway, and there are people who misinterpret lyrics, even though it's our first language, and that happens. So we're going to take this a little step further. And for tonight, we're going to have a mini lesson, and lots of examples. And we're going to use a video and break down about a 7-minute stretch of said video, and then you're going to watch the rest for next week. But our topic for tonight is this, which was requested, llevar versus traer. And by the way, people also requested that I go over ir versus venir, which is going to be the same general big picture. But today we're looking at llevar versus traer, which llevar means a lot of things. You're going to see why in about a half an hour. But llevar can be used in many kinds of structures, but most commonly, in the most general sense, llevar generally conveys the idea of take something, pick it up and move it someplace else, carry something someplace. It can even mean wear something on your body, and it can mean more than that. But, those are the big ideas. These two are really the big ideas. You take a thing, an object, or you take a human being, or you take a pet. It can be a living thing, or it can be an inanimate object. You take something, you pick it up, and you put it in a different place. That is the idea behind llevar in its most general sense. It has other meanings than that. But llevar sometimes can be translated as this: bring. However, when you look up the word bring in a dictionary, it's going to give you a different word. It's going to give you this word traer. Traer. Traer means to bring, and it does only mean to bring. Okay? Traer. But the difference in these is really a location issue. It's a location thing. And the same kind of location issue happens with a different pair of verbs, ir and venir, which we'll look at yet another time. But the difference between llevar and traer is all an issue of really location. It's like a realtor thing, location. Llevar is for taking something to another place or taking somebody to another place. And llevar is always from the point of view of the person who's doing the picking up and the moving, the person who's doing the taking. Okay? And it starts from the idea of picking it up and taking it all the way through the process. And it does not become traer. It is not expressed as traer until you get to the door where your end destination is. Knock, knock, knock. There is where traer comes in. So llevar is for the person who does the picking up, the deciding, the taking that thing, the moving it process. All steps on the road of moving that person or thing. All right. You call somebody, you're invited to a party, or a get together, and you phone your friend who's going to be the host or hostess, and you say, ¿Qué puedo llevar? What can I bring? What can I bring? But it's not this bring. It's not, because you're on the phone and you're not at your host or hostess's place. So, ¿qué puedo llevar? What can I bring? Meaning, what can I pick up and transport over there? We have to use that verb llevar to get that idea across. Okay, that is the natural way that they express that. And traer does not come into the picture until you're really talking about the destination stage of that process. Okay, traer is the bring idea, and it is used from the point of view of the receiver, the person on the receiving end at the destination of that movement. So, okay, bien. The situations you most typically and high frequency need to use the verb traer is in a restaurant or a store type setting. Okay, that's the most typical point where you're going to need traer. You say to the young gal waiting on your table, la mesera, mira, see, or no, I'm sorry, perdón. You're at your friend's house. You're at your door of the friends that you invited you to dinner. First example, I'll get my example straight. First example of ¿Qué puedo llevar? What can I bring? Once you get to your host or hostess's door and you're at that destination, now we're looking at the point of view of the destination. And now you say, as you hand over that bottle of wine, mira, te traigo esta botella de vino. Hey, look, I'm bringing you this bottle of wine. Te traigo, because now you're at the party. You're at the host or hostess's house. See? Te traigo. It becomes te traigo. Okay? But here is the situation where really, as a traveler, you're going to need this a lot. Traer is when you're ordering something or you're working with somebody in a store setting and you say la mesera. Now we are back to our mesera situation. Tráigame otro café, por favor. Bring me a coffee, please. Because I'm sitting at the table and this is the destination. I want that second cup here. And because I'm on the receiving end, we do not use llevar. We use to make the request politely. Tráigame, bring me, tráigame otro café, por favor. Bien, ok. Por ejemplo, aquí, tráigame la cuenta, por favor. Tráigame la cuenta. Bring me the bill. Because I'm sitting at the table. I'd like the bill here at the table where I'm sitting. But this is all the destination thing. So that's where we use traer. Pero, en mi opinión, opino que, creo que, llevar es más útil. The situation where you're actually going to hear and use a verb a lot speaking is going to be, if you're not in that restaurant, tráigame situation, the verb you're really going to wind up hearing and listening more often is llevar. That's the one you're going to hear way, way, way more. Okay. So we're going to listen to about 7 minutes, 7 minutos. Es un video que usa llevar muchísimo. It uses llevar a lot. So you're going to hear lots of examples of llevar being used. And we're going to show how you can turn on the subtitles and decode or get the idea of what somebody is talking about, or where you notice, aha, here I'm going to have to write down what is this structure and come back to class and ask it. Yeah, see? Notice how a structure sounds funny in English, but it is a natural pattern in Spanish. So we're going to see here about half of this video. You're going to watch the second half during the coming week. And then we'll pick up and use some more llevar. But we're going to use our method of doing some listening with llevar right now. Y es una historia. Ella va a narrar sus actividades. Bien. Es Andrea. Ok, espero funciona el botón. With YouTube, most of you know that the CC button down here will turn on the subtitles for you in Spanish. And if you don't see them in Spanish, you can click on these buttons to get it in Spanish. I would like you with this to resist the urge to click on the settings, the gear button, and do the playback speed at 0.75, which is the slowest you should ever play a video ever. I would say try to really fight that thing of 0.75, 75% of the speed, and really keep it at normal speed, because in this specific video, she tries to keep things at a moving rate. It's not as fast as a total native speaker would speak, but it's still slow enough that it's not terribly difficult. And definitely turn on the subtitles. I think there's only maybe one situation where, in this one, where there's a little boo-boo with the AI, but most of it is quite accurate. Okay, vamos a escuchar. We're going to decode as we go along here.
Andrea la mexicana está en el aeropuerto y hoy voy a México.
That was pretty slow. See? But without the subtitles, it might have been tougher for you to hear her connecting, like está en el aeropuerto, all that is going to slide together. So Andrea la Mexicana is in the airport, and today I'm going to Mexico.
Regreso a México.
Regreso a México. I'm going back to Mexico. I'm returning to Mexico. Andrea es una mexicana que vive en Canadá. Vive en la ciudad de Vancouver en British Columbia, en el northwest, en el noroeste de Canadá. Y ella, aunque ella estudia y vive en Canadá, ella va de visita a México para ver a la familia.
Andrea la mexicana. Hola chicos, una vez más su mexicana aquí hablando con ustedes. ¿Cómo están el día de hoy?
Okay, all these are general ideas. You don't need to translate all this stuff. She's introducing herself. I'm talking to you today, right? How are you
Chicos,
guys?
hoy me estoy preparando para viajar a México.
Hoy me estoy preparando para viajar a México. I'm doing what? And now she's talking in real time as she's doing it. So she's really using this ing structure. So you're going to see estoy with ando, estoy with yendo. Okay. Today I'm doing what?
Getting ready to go to Mexico.
I'm getting ready to travel to Mexico.
Voy de regreso.
Voy de regreso. I'm going back. Somebody asked this in my morning session. Why didn't she say voy a regresar? I thought you had to have voy a and then a verb. But this is voy de regreso. She chose to phrase it differently. We do that in English too, yeah? Instead of saying I'm going to return, we say I'm going back. And she just chose to phrase it a different way, not voy a regresar with el infinitivo, but voy de regreso. I'm going on the way back, on my way back.
No, continuaré en Canadá, pero voy.
She thought people might think she's leaving Canada. I will keep being in Canada. Yeah, I'm still staying in Canada.
Vamos de vacaciones a México.
Pero voy, digamos, but I'm going, let's say. Digamos is one of those things that may confuse you. What is digamos? Digamos is maybe one of those holes in the Swiss cheese. Digamos is just a way of saying, let's say. I'm going, well, let's say on vacation.
Estoy aquí con la sensación de que algo se me va a olvidar, pero nada se nos puede olvidar. Estoy aquí terminando un último video antes de viajar.
I am here doing what?
Last video.
I am finishing up a very last video antes de viajar, before traveling. So she's on her last minute lap, right? The main ideas we want to get here is that, she's in that typical milieu we're in of we're doing everything last minute by the seat of our pants before we get ready to go on a trip. That's the idea we're getting.
Estoy trabajando hoy lunes a
I'm
las
still
5 de
working.
la tarde.
Monday, 5 in the
Grabando
afternoon.
videos. Y bueno, les cuento que aquí yo ya tengo unas cosas que me voy a llevar.
Here's our first llevar. Yo ya tengo, I have right now, that's the ya, the right now, ya tengo. Unas cosas que me voy a llevar. I've got some things I'm going to.
Where, Carrie?
Well, it could be where, but here, because she's in that packing process, and we only know this because of a context, that she's probably packing.
Mm-hmm.
And you could interpret that as things I'm going to wear, but probably what she really means, things I'm going to take along with me. And the me is the with me idea. Me voy a llevar, that I'm going to take. Here's the take. I'm going to pick it up, transport it with me, carry it along with me.
El caos es la locura.
Sí.
Lo siento. En lugar de decir llevar, puedes decir voy a tomar conmigo. I understand we're only talking about llevar. But es sinónimo?
Es sinónimo. Tomar. Sí, es sinónimo. Se
I like
puede
llevar
decir.
better. I
You
like
can,
llevar better because
you
you're
can,
physically taking, you're carrying it with you.
see. Uh, um, so here's the thing. Might somebody sub in different words that mean the same thing? Well, sure they might. Uh, uh, but in this case, a really common thing that is very typical for people to use is llevar,
Okay, see.
because you are literally transporting
Mhm.
stuff, aren't you? Yeah. So you could use tomar, right?
Pero
But
no es normal, literalmente. ¿Sí?
lo más normal,
Okay.
algo que suena muy natural, something that sounds really natural, is to use llevar in this situation.
Sí.
Yeah? Lo más normal, the most normal thing in the world. Okay. And now she's talking about things being a mess. Es el caos, es la locura.
Cuando hago mis maletas, siempre viajo
It's always a mess when I do what? Cuando hago las maletas.
When I pack my bags.
When I pack my bags, oh, this place is a disaster. That's the idea you want to get. Es un caos. Spanish speakers love that word caos to convey chaos. Chaos. It is literally chaos, but that's how I feel when I pack. Yeah. See? Maybe you're really organized and you don't feel that way. Bravo. Felicitaciones, congratulations. Si tú eres una persona muy organizada, sin caos, felicitaciones. Ah, ah, bien, ok.
con una maleta grande para documentar y una maleta pequeña que va
Ah,
conmigo.
ok. Siempre hago una maleta grande para documentar. Now, here's something that may be a hole in the Swiss cheese. Document as a verb? A big suitcase, think of the context of flying someplace. I always take a big suitcase to do what?
Check in.
Check in.
Marilyn?
Yeah.
Marilyn,
Sí, sí.
the last sentence before this, whatever,
Uh-huh.
screen, cuando hago, that is subjunctive because it hasn't happened yet.
It is not subjunctive. Now, qué buena pregunta. What a good question that is. Let's go. Cuando hago mis maletas, when I pack my bags,
Well, she hasn't done it
Siempre
yet. We don't
viajo
know
con
who's going to get it done.
she hasn't done it yet, but because she's talking about her routine, this is how you know she is using cuando hago mis maletas, you know, because she's using hago, something that's not subjunctive. Yeah. When I pack my bags, when I make my bags, but when I pack my bags, right? Hacer la maleta is pack, is used for pack, even though hacer means to make or to do. She uses plain old indicativo, just the yo form, the I am doing this verb. Okay.
Right.
And because she's using that, she's telling you,
It's
I
always
travel a lot. And when I do this, this is my routine.
right. It's a
Okay.
given. It's not, there's no guesswork in this thing. It's a specific,
See,
continual event.
now, in a different situation, and y es buena pregunta, it's a good question because we finished up last thing talking about
Yeah.
cuando used with subjunctive a lot, didn't we? So, okay,
Yes.
let's think about this. In a different context, in a situation, uh, let's say you are all packed. Tú eres una persona muy organizada, but your better half is not yet packed. And let's say we're now talking in the context of not a routine, but we're saying, hey, when you pack your bags, don't forget blah, blah, blah. Now, to convey that idea, I am saying to my better half, hey, you haven't packed yet. And this is something you haven't done. So, cuando hagas la maleta, when you do pack that bag, see? Sí, no No te olvidas, no te olvides, no te olvides, no te olvides el pasaporte. No te olvides, no te olvides, don't forget, no te olvides la ropa interior. Don't forget your underwear. No te olvides los calcetines. Don't forget your socks. But now I'm using the cuando hagas las maletas. Now I'm using the subjunctive because I'm saying, oh, I see you haven't packed yet. And I don't know when you're going to get it done, but because I'm putting it off to some, we don't know exactly when it will happen. It would have to become subjunctive. But this right here that she uses, cuando hago las maletas, she is using hago presente, plain old vanilla flavor verb, to say, this is my routine when I travel.
Okay.
And you know it's your routine because she says cuando and plain old present
Because
tense.
she's using that. Okay. Okay.
Because she uses hago, you know it's not well, when I do this 5 hours from now, but every time I do this. That's
Okay. So ago is the clue on that one. Okay.
aha. And really, the subjunctive wouldn't be far off from that. It would be aga with an A at the end. Yeah. So that one little vowel makes a big difference. See? Cuando hago. When I pack my bags, I always travel
Una maleta grande para documentar.
with a big suitcase to check in, documentar. Yeah, you're documenting it because somebody else is taking care of it, right?
Y una maleta pequeña que va conmigo.
And a small suitcase that
Comes with me.
goes with me. Yeah, that comes along with me, that goes with me, que va conmigo. Okay.
Y también llevo mi mochila.
Y también, here's another llevo. Yay. Y también llevo mi mochila. Y también llevo, and I also take my backpack. So notice, so she doesn't repeat the same verb all the time. It's maleta pequeña que va, which goes. Y también llevo, and I also take. See? And here's a take again. She's going to pick up that backpack and bring it along. She's going to bring, but she's really taking it, yeah? The backpack.
Pero la cosa es que yo grabo en México. Entonces,
The thing is that I record in Mexico. Now, she's still talking about a habit. I record when I go there. Yo grabo, I record.
siempre tengo que cargar conmigo una lámpara.
Oh, so I've always got to load up stuff with me. Cargar is load up. Think of cargo, cargar. I'm always loading up stuff with me, and you'll see all the gear she's going to be talking about. And it's not just llevar because this feels like she's loading it.
Lámpara. Tengo que llevarme el equipo de grabación.
Light, lámpara, light, a light for recording. And here's a llevar. Tengo que llevarme. I have to take with me my recording equipment.
Estos miles de cables.
Miles de cables. She's exaggerating, of course. Miles, thousands of cables. You get that feeling when you travel. Yeah, you got the cable for the phone. You got the cable for the camera, maybe that's different. You got a cable for a tablet. If you've got that, that's different. You got some other thingamabob, and it's got a cable to a microphone because she needs a microphone. You probably don't use a microphone, but miles de cables, she feels like she's got thousands, so she's exaggerating.
Computadora, la cámara, la otra cámara, los micrófonos. Es un mundo de cosas.
Es un mundo de cosas. It's a world of stuff. It's a ton. ¿Sí?
Y la cosa es que no sé qué piensan ustedes, pero está cambiando el mundo.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys think, but the world is changing.
Y también el clima cambia.
And the weather changes a lot
Ahorita
too.
en México, a donde voy, la
and now in Mexico, where I'm going,
cosa está que está lloviendo mucho, que a veces hace mucho calor, que a veces
está lloviendo. It's doing what kind of weather?
Raining.
Raining and hot.
Raining, and it's really sometimes
Hot.
hot. A veces, sometimes, a veces hace mucho calor. Sometimes it's really hot.
Hace frío, está
A veces hace frío. Sometimes it's cold. So she's talking about that changeability. Yeah. El clima cambia mucho. The weather changes a lot. Llueve mucho. Hace calor. Hace frío. She's going through all these changes she's trying to plan for.
medio raro el clima. Aquí en
The weather is kind of weird. Está medio raro. The weather is kind of in a weird state.
Vancouver, ahora que estoy grabando esto, se está acabando el verano, ya estamos entrando en otoño.
En Vancouver, sí, donde estoy grabando, where I am recording right now, sí, se está acabando el verano. The summer is
Just started.
It's wrapping up. Acabar is to finish. Summer is finishing up. Se está acabando. It is closing down. It is finishing up. Acabar is the end point, yeah, the ending verb. Se está acabando. Summer is ending. Estamos entrando en otoño.
We're entering autumn.
Autumn.
We're moving into fall, into autumn. ¿Sí?
Y el tipo de ropa que me tengo que llevar, a veces no lo sé, no sé.
Y el tipo de ropa que me tengo que llevar and the kind of clothing that I have to wear or take along. A veces no lo sé. Sometimes I just don't
Don't know.
No sé qué llevarme. Tengo que
No sé qué llevarme. I don't know what to take with me. No sé qué llevarme. I don't know what to take along. And the me is just saying, emphasizing the along with me idea.
improvisar o pedir prestado a mi madre un poco de
I might have to improvise or borrow from my mom a little bit of
ropa,
clothing.
pero bueno, pues van a viajar conmigo. Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos. Confieso que estoy un poco nerviosa porque voy a cruzar la frontera. Tengo
Confieso. I confess that I feel a certain way.
Anxious. Yeah.
I feel a little anxious. I feel a little nervous because I've got to cross something. I have to cross
The border.
the border. Aha.
una escala. Normalmente tengo mi escala en Ciudad de
And now here's maybe a hole in the Swiss cheese. Tengo una escala. Normalmente tengo mi escala en Ciudad de México. Escala. ¿Qué es escala? La escala es una parte del vuelo,
Mm-hmm.
¿sí? La escala es la primera ciudad cuando hay una pausa, ¿sí? Hay una conexión en la escala.
A transit stop.
Sí, escala is what we would call a stop. Escala is a stop. So this may be one of those things you need to decode, that word escala, unless you've been doing a lot of studying up for travel vocab. That word escala may be, what is that? Escala is a stop, a layover, if you will. A layover, yeah? Una escala. So she's got a layover, a stop, where she's going to switch planes, okay?
México, pero esta vez tengo escala en Estados Unidos.
This time I've got to stop in US.
¿Cómo me siento?
How do I feel about that?
He tenido escalas antes en Estados Unidos, pero me siento
I've had stops in the US before.
un poco, no sé qué pensar. Un poco
But I feel, no sé qué pensar.
Uneasy.
I don't know what to think. She is feeling cautious.
nerviosa porque pues tengo una escala de 4 horas, me parece,
How long is that layover?
4 hours.
4 hours,
Y
I
siempre
think.
tengo retrasos en ese aeropuerto. Ya fui antes.
And I always have, retrasos are backups.
Delays.
Yeah, delays. I always have delays at that airport.
A este aeropuerto en Estados Unidos, que ya verán cuál es. Y es
And you'll see which airport it is because she's going to record there.
un aeropuerto gigante
Es un aeropuerto gigante, obvio,
con miles de lugares para ir
with thousands of places to go,
y
wander
mucha
around.
seguridad y
Mucha seguridad. Lots of security checks. When you hear about the word seguridad connected to el aeropuerto, it's talking about a security check. ¿Sí?
revisiones. Vamos a ver cómo me va, pero siempre con buena energía,
I'm going to see how it goes for me, cómo me va, how it goes for me. The for me part is the me. Con energía positiva. Well, she's trying to be positive about it.
positiva y vamos, vamos, vamos. Como todo va a salir bien, voy a llegar a mi destino a las 11 de la noche.
If all goes well, I'm going to get to my destination at what time?
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
Y voy a salir a las 11:30 de la mañana.
But I'm leaving at
11:30.
11:30 a.m. De la mañana is the a.m.
De Vancouver. Así que vámonos a esta aventura.
Bueno chicos, he llegado al aeropuerto. La verdad que me gusta mucho el aeropuerto de Vancouver, es muy tranquilo, muy pacífico.
Ooh, how does she feel about the airport?
Good.
Calm.
Yeah, like it's calm, it's chill, it's very peaceful, pacífico, it's peaceful, tranquilo, it's quiet, it's calm.
Muy silencioso y tengo
Silencioso.
emociones encontradas.
Tengo emociones encontradas. Now, wait a minute. Encontrar means to find. But wait a minute. How can an emoción be encontrada? A found emotion? That does not make, no tiene sentido. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Here is something that might be a hole in the Swiss cheese that needs to be plugged in. Okay. Encontradas is talking about emociones. How do you find an emotion? Well, what she means, tengo emociones encontradas. Encontradas there means opposing or mixed. I have mixed emotions. Yeah. I've got like the yin and the yang. I've got opposing ideas battling out in my feelings here. See? Tengo emociones encontradas. I've got opposing emotional feelings about this.
Pero ya encontré mi puerta de salida.
And now this is a normal encontré. I found my gate, my departure gate. Puerta de salida, my departure gate.
Y sí, chicos, yo nunca vi esto en otro aeropuerto.
I've never seen this in any other airport.
No.
¿Alguien puede decirme si lo han visto en otro lugar que no sea
Can anybody tell me if they've seen this?
Vancouver?
No, never.
Hot water. Una máquina.
Nice.
Que te sirve el agua caliente para el té. Wow.
Voy a salir por la puerta número 79. Estoy aquí.
Okay, and now this is just information, right? This is easier. We don't have too much Swiss cheese here. I'm leaving through gate 79.
Está aquí enfrente de mí. Bueno,
It's right here in front of me.
pasé la entrevista con los oficiales de Estados Unidos.
Pasé.
Really? That's
She's
interesting.
saying- I went through my interview with the
U.S. officials. It's like
US.
customs.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah,
pre-customs kind of thing. You know what
They
that's like.
do that around Canada,
Yeah.
going in both directions.
See, so going from Canada to US, you've got like this screening, yeah, that pre-screening. Okay, she's gone through that interview.
Siempre es lo que me pone más nerviosa. Cuando
Siempre es lo que me pone más nerviosa. And that's always
It made me very
lo
nervous.
que, what does that do to her?
Makes her more nervous.
It gets me nervous. It puts me in a nervous state. Me pone.
Okay, me
It's
pone.
not the ponerse of putting shoes on your foot and your feet, right? It's me pone nerviosa. Me pone with an emotion means it gets me in the state of nerviosa. Okay.
he cruzado la frontera, he tenido sensaciones interesantes.
Yeah, when I've crossed the border, I've had interesting feelings, yeah.
Sí, me preguntó que por qué estaba en Canadá. Y
Me preguntó.
They asked me.
He asked me why, and the yo here is not voiced, but it is implied. Why, ¿por qué estaba en Canadá? He asked me why I was in Canada.
y bueno, le expliqué. Me preguntó
Bueno, le expliqué. Okay, I explained it to him. See, the le is the to him part, right? Or her. We don't really know. She doesn't really say.
que si tenía visa.
Me preguntó que si tengo. He asked me if
I have a visa.
If I had a visa.
Sé que tengo visa y que todo está bien, pero
yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that I've got a visa. Everything's okay.
el simple hecho de hacerte esas preguntas es como, chin, ¿qué va a pasar? ¿Qué va a pasar?
Well, here come the nerves, yeah.
What's chin?
Chin.
What's happening?
Chin, yeah. If somebody comes into the door and says, chin, 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 it's like, ta-da. Chin doesn't have a lot of meaning. Oh, man. You know, we might put a lot of things in. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Chin. ¿Qué va a pasar? What's going to happen? ¿Qué va a pasar? Yeah. That chin is a very slang thing. That chin. It's a meaningless, it's just a word that it's a filler word. It's a filler word. It doesn't really have a lot of meaning on its own.
En fin, documenté mi maleta y
en fin. So, on the end, I did what with my...
Checked my bag.
I checked my bag.
tuve que sacarle un par de cosas.
Tuve que sacarle un par de cosas. Que sacarle.
Had to take out a couple.
I had to take out un par.
A couple of things.
A couple of things.
Se había pasado, no supe por cuánto, pero que según esto se pasó por unos cuantos gramos.
So she was over, se pasó. She was over the weight requirement. Yeah. Unos cuantos gramos, a few grams. She was a little over the weight allocation for the bags.
El peso de mi maleta y tuve que sacar algo. Pero bueno, se fue. Voy a recoger mi maleta hasta que llegue a mi destino final.
And here does come a little subjunctive. Yeah, I'm going to pick up my bags when it gets to the destination. But she's not at her final destination yet. So the hasta que llegue is not hasta que llega. It's hasta que llegue, until it gets to the destination. So that's in subjunctive, that llegue, because her bags aren't, well, she's not in Mexico City yet. See? So that has to be that little subjunctive thingy that is uncomfortable.
Y por aquí tengo mi maleta.
So here I've got my little suitcase,
mi mochila,
my
y a
backpack,
mí misma.
and me.
Bueno, ahora son las 10 de la mañana
Okay, 10 in the morning.
y se supone que tenemos que empezar a subir al avión a las 11.
Okay, now there's going to be a Swiss cheese hole in this phrase, but you know the general idea. The general idea is what? That we're starting to do something.
Right. Empezar a subir, to get onto the plane.
We're starting to get on the plane. That's the big idea. And the time we're supposed to start to get on the plane is
11.
11. Okay. So here's the little chunk. So now you have that idea. Tenemos que empezar a subir. Subir is to go up like stairs. But in this case, because we're getting up onto a vehicle, into a vehicle, getting into a vehicle, whether it's a car or a subway, un metro, un autobús, un avión, un carro, no importa. Any vehicle you get into, it's subir because you step up to get in. So subir is get on. It's the same as abordar, but subir is más general. It's more general, get on the vehicle verb. So the part that, wait a minute, maybe you don't know, but you know it doesn't interfere with your understanding is the se supone que. And the se supone que is just a chunk that turns this idea of we have to start getting on the plane into we're supposed to.
There you go.
That's all that means. The se supone que turns this whole rest of the thing that you do understand, or is easier to understand, into, well, we're supposed to be getting on. We're supposed to start boarding. Okay? So it just means we're supposed to. Because of the tenemos, it's the we're doing it.
A trabajar un poco.
And is that a subjunctive?
Oh, sí, perdón.
Is that a subjunctive, se supone?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, we're supposed to.
That's
We
definite.
are planning, you know, this is the plan. This is the plan. We're going to follow along. We're supposed to do this. It indicates kind of an obligation, yeah? Something that we are supposed to follow along.
Isn't it a little redundant?
It is kind of redundant, I guess. Yeah, sí. Se supone que. She could have said, just said, tenemos que empezar. Yeah, she could have just left it that. But, you know, it's the same reason we inject the idea of we're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. We're supposed to be there 2 hours before.
Mm, 3 hours.
Yeah, we use supposed to. That's all.
Continuemos. Chicos, he llegado a Dallas. Estoy en Dallas en este momento. Me han cambiado de puerta, de portón de salida, como 3 veces.
Ooh, they did something.
Oh.
They
They
threw
changed,
her a
they
curveball. What
changed
happened?
the gate. They changed the departure gate 3 times.
Yeah, and they did it to me. Han
Mhm.
cambiado.
They
They have
sure
changed
did.
it on me. Yeah, I'm putting the blame on them. They have changed the gate, the departure gate. I mean, like 3 times.
Y ahora me he sentado en la puerta número D33. Estoy aquí afuera muy cerca. Déjenme decirles que he estado dando vueltas también porque este aeropuerto es...
Oh, he estado dando vueltas. I've been doing this. I've been going
Around and around.
around and around. I've been going around and around. Dar vueltas is just cruising around, going around in circles.
gigante, es muy grande y he estado buscando algo para comer. Así
He estado buscando algo para comer. Wow, I have been doing something. I have been on the lookout. I have been
Something to eat.
Yeah.
looking for something to eat.
ha sido difícil. Número 1,
It has been hard.
porque no como
First of all, here's the first reason it's been hard.
gluten. Número 2,
Primero, no como gluten. First of all, I don't eat any gluten. So that was number one hard thing.
porque estoy tratando de buscar algo saludable.
And number 2, estoy tratando de buscar
Something
algo.
helpful.
I'm trying to
Healthy.
look for
Something healthy.
something healthy to
Bueno.
eat. Yeah.
Algo que me nutra. Después de
Algo que me nutra, something that will provide nutrition. Yeah, that not just be junk food, but then wait till you see what she bought.
viajar tanto. Son las 7 de la noche y mi vuelo sale a las 9:32.
Bien. Fácil. Easy. ¿Sí?
Tengo tiempo, no hay problema. Estoy caminando, viendo la gente, viendo los lugares y las tiendas.
Yeah, so I'm just checking the place. I'm looking at people. I'm people watching. I am,
And that's stores.
yeah, looking at places, looking at stores.
Entonces me puse a buscar algo saludable en los
So I started to look for something healthy.
lugares que he visitado. Estaba muy feliz porque
I was really
solo
happy.
gasté $9.37.
And here's where we have a boo-boo with the AI. They use that little word
How
con.
much?
She did not spend $937. So here's where you got to watch out with the AI translation. They
Peso.
missed that little word con. What she really said was gasté 9,37. 9,37. So when you watch this again later in the week, listen for that number. 9. Yeah, listen for it. The con is what you will often hear people use to indicate the decimal point. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The decimal point, yeah. 9,37 is $9.37. So the con is what comes before the cents part. Yeah. See? Solo gasté. I only spent $9.37. $9.37.
$9 americanos. Y bueno, en el aeropuerto sabemos que a veces la comida es cara. Lo que
Oh, yeah. In the airport, we all know that sometimes
Way up there.
food's expensive.
comprado, $9. ¡Wow! Excelente. Me compré este queso.
Sí. I bought for myself. Me compré. I bought myself this cheese.
Este queso.
This cheese.
Estos chicharrones que solamente.
Oh, chicharrones. Wait a minute. Where did comida saludable go out the window? Chicharrones. Yeah, pork rinds. So, okay.
Son chicharrones con solo chicharrones. Y este yogurt, porque necesito proteína. Y bueno,
I need protein.
acabo de darme cuenta de
I just realized. Acabo de darme cuenta de. I just realized something.
que hay un lugar donde preparan ensaladas por aquí.
I just realized that there's a place where they do something.
They make salads.
They make salads.
Vi ensaladas en otros lugares, pero se veían muy
I saw some salads in other places.
feas.
Se veían muy feas.
They look terrible. They're ugly.
They looked bad. Yeah, this word feo in whatever iteration here, it has to be feas because we're talking about ensaladas. Vi ensaladas en otros lugares. I saw salads in other places, pero se veían muy feas. They looked awful. Yeah, we wouldn't say ugly in English, but this is a common thing. When something looks gross or terrible, the typical thing for people to use is feo, ugly. Yeah, looking bad.
Siempre hay que tener cuidado cuando uno viaja y en cualquier
You always have to be careful when you're traveling.
lugar también.
And any place.
Pero bueno, voy a comer esto, voy a estar feliz. Estoy un poco cansada. Hace un año que no piso Estados Unidos, que no había.
No piso.
I have not set foot. No
Yeah,
piso.
stepped in, yeah.
Piso comes from pisar. Pisar means to take a step.
Mm-hmm.
I have not set foot in the United States in
A year.
a year. I have not been in the U.S. for a year.
He estado aquí y me da cierta nostalgia, de verdad.
And it makes me a little nostalgic. Me da. It gives me nostalgia.
Me
verdad que extraño mucho visitar a mi amiga Jennifer.
Extraño mucho. I miss visiting my
friend Jen.
friend. She has a friend who lives in the U.S.
Y bueno, también explorar Estados Unidos. Porque
And also she misses exploring the U.S.
tiene lugares muy bonitos también.
because it has some very pretty places.
Y algún día.
Algún día, someday. Pero hoy no, yeah. So she's being very diplomatic, saying she can't really stay now at this time.
Pues no lo había hecho por la situación de mi visa en Canadá y la última vez que fui hace un año, fui
And she's in a difficult situation because besides, if for her traveling and coming to the States, she's got a visa for Canada. And she starts to get questions about, wait a minute, you're a Mexican, but your visa's for Canada, and what are you doing here? So, the suspicion you get makes you very, very uncomfortable, is what she's trying to convey here.
Y con un permiso, con visa, con todo bien, me fui en
And I came a year ago and I had a visa, everything was
autobús,
good.
tengo un video por ahí, y la persona de la frontera me hizo muchísimas preguntas.
And the person at the border asked me a lot of questions.
Y me dio un poquito de miedo ahora. No de miedo, pero como...
And the person scared me a little bit. And then she goes, well, not really
Sí,
scared, but
precaución, ¿no? Hay que tener precaución.
made me feel cautious.
Y bueno, ahora estoy en tránsito. Todo muy bien, todo muy
Now I'm just in
tranquilo.
transit.
La vez pasada que estuve en este aeropuerto, estaba, yo creo que hace como 2 años. Estaba
And last time I was here, it was like 2 years ago.
llenísimo, pero llenísimo, llenísimo. Hay
And
como
how was the airport?
Super full.
Super full, llenísimo, pero llenísimo, llenísimo. It was really, really full.
tipo Skytrain, un train que te lleva a las...
Yeah, another lleva. This lleva is not to take a thing along.
To ride, it's carry me.
A
That's
ride that
great.
takes you somewhere. Sí, un tren que te lleva, a train that takes you
diferentes zonas del aeropuerto porque es muy
to
grande.
different parts of the airport, yeah.
Y no estaba tan lleno como normalmente estuvo cuando yo estuve aquí. Pero bueno, estoy feliz, voy a comer.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there, and you're going to watch the last half of it for your listening, yeah? And listen again for how she used llevar in different situations, right? Some were talking about stuff she's putting in the suitcase, about how she's got to pack for clothing, about the SkyTrain that takes you around to different parts of the airport. Ok, bien, vale. Bueno, así que, we're going to move on to what's this thing with llevar? What's this thing with llevar? Llevar is used in a number of situations, and probably the most crucial is the one about taking something to a place or taking a person somewhere. But there are other situations where you'll hear llevar a lot. So we're going to watch parts of this next video to show like different uses of llevar. And this gets you prepped for the questions you're going to get to prep, yeah, to come into class. So we're just going to highlight, but I want you to watch this because you're going to show you examples of how this is used. So the thing of llevar is not just a thing of llevar and traer. It has a bunch of, and we're just going to hit the highlights so we can preview. Llevar, to carry or to take with you. Okay, we know that one. Uno, see? And I'll go over just one example. Physically
Like, for
moving
example, I always take my backpack to school.
Siempre llevo mi mochila a la escuela.
Okay, so taking something with you, and they talk about llevar and traer a little bit. And the next thing for llevar, here comes the wear part.
Llevar can also be used to talk about what someone is wearing. This could be anything from clothing to accessories to hairstyles.
So now they're going to show you how sometimes it'll be just llevar by itself, but sometimes we add an extra word. So I want to point this one out to you.
For example, Maria is wearing a red dress.
María lleva un vestido rojo.
So normally it's fine to use the verb llevar by itself because in context it makes sense. But if it's out of context, we might not be sure if Maria is wearing the dress or, like the previous example, she's taking it somewhere.
Like if she's got it on a hanger and taking it to the dry cleaner. Oh, that could be lleva un vestido also. So sometimes to indicate that it's not just that she's got it on a hanger going to the dry cleaners, we add an extra word. You'll see what they add.
So if that's the case, we need to add the word puesto, and this emphasizes that the dress is being worn.
And the puesto means it is placed on one's body. But the word puesto does not look at the word Maria to get its form. The word puesto looks at the clothing article to get its form. And because puesto is talking about the word vestido, it gets that form puesto. It could be possibly puesta, okay? Bien, if it were camiseta or camisa or blusa, it would have to be puesta, for example.
For example, Maria is wearing a red dress.
María lleva puesto un vestido rojo.
So that just makes it specific that she's not carrying the dress someplace, she's actually wearing it on her body. That word puesto means it's put on herself. Okay, so I wanted to point that out. Here comes our next llevar.
How long someone has been doing something. If we use llevar, we're going to sound like a pro to native Spanish speakers.
People use this a lot. So we're going to focus just a little bit on this so that you see where this is coming from, because you're going to have about 2 examples or 3 where I want you to come in and use this next week. And this is different, but if you think of it as a bad translation and think of it as I carry on doing something, you'll understand what idea they're using for this.
But there are 2 tricks to it. When it's an affirmative sentence, the common structure is llevar plus a period of time plus the present participle.
And the present participle means ando yendo, ando yendo. Llevar, a chunk of time, and ando or yendo.
For example, I've been studying Spanish for 3 years.
Llevo 3 años estudiando español.
So
I carry on studying Spanish for 3 years. It means I've been doing this for this period of time. And this is a much, much loved structure by native speakers.
I have been bouncing up against that on Duolingo lately.
Okay, there
Throwing
you go.
that at me, and I'm like,
There you go. Yeah. So think of that as I carry along, I carry on doing something. Think of it that way, but we would say it as I've been doing something for a period of time.
We have llevar, llevo, plus a period of time, 3 años, plus the present participle, estudiando. And if we say, we've been traveling for a month.
Llevamos un mes viajando. While this is a common structure, you could say, llevamos viajando un mes.
So they're showing you the order of the words might be flipped, okay? Best that you learn it in the order of llevamos un mes viajando, but people may be flexible with the order of those.
Remember, Spanish is a little bit more flexible than English with word order.
Now, if it's a question, we still have llevar and the verb in the present participle, but now we don't have our time period. We want to ask how much time you've been doing something. And in that, we'll use cuánto tiempo. So for example, how long have you been working here?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas trabajando aquí?
How long have they been dating?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan saliendo de novios?
And our second trick is when it's negative, we're going to have the verb llevar and then our period of time, but instead of the present participle, we're going to add the word sin and then the infinitive of the verb.
So you're only going to have one example to use this in, but I am going to ask you to use this in one example next week.
For example, I haven't seen my best friend in a week.
Llevo una semana sin ver a mi mejor amigo.
So first llevar, llevo, then a period of time, una semana, then sin, and then the infinitive of the verb ver. And
so I haven't seen my friend. I haven't seen. That's where they come with the idea of it's a negative idea, right? I haven't seen for this period of time. All right.
So it's been a week without seeing.
Yeah, I've been carrying on for a whole week without seeing my friend. Sin ver, sin ver. But here it won't be viendo because we have that word sin. It'll be sin ver, sin ver. without seeing, okay? Even though in English we do say the word seeing without seeing, in Spanish you can only combine those two as sin, ver, okay? You can't have sin viendo. That doesn't make sense. Sin is a preposition. Any verb that follows a preposition always has to be the er, ar, ir, the infinitive form, okay?
If we wanted to say, I love having a car. I haven't used public transportation in years.
Me encanta tener coche. Llevo años sin usar el transporte público.
Ah, yeah, okay. Buen ejemplo, really good example. Me encanta tener coche. I love having a car. Ah, I haven't been on public transport in years. Years, años. I don't even know how long. Just a bunch of them. Años. Lleva años sin usar el transporte público. Okay, so do notice that that is used. I wanted to point that out because that is something that you probably, you might not expect. So, okay, we've got that example. Now we're going to just highlight real quickly the last few things. Llevar, this one I'm going to let you watch, but we're not going to have an example in your practice. Llevar is to say that somebody is in the lead with a game. Now, if you're a big fan and you've been through the exciting 18 innings of baseball, that might be important to you, but we're going to skip that, and I'm not, because you might not have that in daily conversation as much. So I'll skip that over, but that's kind of a point of interest. Here comes the next llevar.
Me. Number 5. Llevar is often used to mean to handle, to manage, or to be in charge of something.
Oh, when you run something. Yeah. When you run the office, you manage the office. Yeah. You handle a project, you manage a project. That's llevar. We'll show you one
For
example.
example, Carla runs her grandpa's business.
Carla lleva el negocio de su abuelo.
And there, the lleva, she's not picking up the business and carrying it anywhere. But this is just a term that's used for, this is one of the meanings of llevar, right? When you run something, a process. Yeah, a process. Okay. Muy importante. This next one is important for travelers a lot because it's used a lot to talk about what a dish contains. I know your food doesn't wear clothing, and we're not talking about carrying your food anywhere, but it's what ingredients are carried along in your plate, what's on your plate.
What ingredients a dish contains?
Right. For example, does this dish have garlic?
¿Este platillo lleva ajo?
Now, could you say tiene? Este plato tiene ajo. You could, but lleva sounds way more natural to them. Este plato lleva ajo. Does this dish have garlic? Bien? Vale? And then they're going to do the get along, and the get along is a reflexive one. So you're going to watch that, but how you're going to see this when you see it later is in our little file that you get tomorrow morning after class, after our explanation of llevar and traer, and how one indicates the process of moving and the other one is the destination. You're going to have a series of questions. ¿Qué llevas cuando vas a una cena? What do you take when you go to a dinner or a party? What do you normally do? And this one is your habit. What do you normally bring to a party? Cuando tienes un vuelo, when you have a flight, what do you take in your carry-on bag? Yeah, equipo de mano is your carry-on bag. ¿Qué llevas puesto al salir de casa? What do you have on? What do you wear when you leave the house for a little stroll? ¿Qué llevas puesto? Or it might have to be ¿qué llevas puesto? Or ¿qué llevas puesta? Perdón. ¿Qué llevas puesta versus ¿qué llevas puesto? Okay? Might have to be puesto, might have to be puesta. Depends on the article of clothing. What do you wear when you get out of the house and you're going for a little stroll? ¿Quién te lleva al aeropuerto? Who takes you to the airport? Who takes you to the airport? And that has nothing to do with wearing, but who carries you? Who puts you in the car? ¿A cuántas personas puedes llevar en tu carro? How many people fit in your car? How many people can you take? ¿Sí? ¿Qué ingredientes lleva tu receta favorita? What ingredients, what kind of stuff is in your favorite recipe? And then we're going to have our ing kind of examples. How long have you been doing something? Or how long do you normally do something? Or how long since you've been doing something? And then a couple. So we've got 10, 10. Yeah. Thing about running a project, managing a project. And, they're going to have one extra example of people taking off with something. Llevar can mean to take off with, and that's usually not a good sign. Well, sometimes it's not a good sign. Yeah. What did those guys take off with in the Louvre? Yeah, that's a little preview because we'll have something to next classes to talk about that. Okay, bien, you're going to practice those, come back, and we'll use llevar actively, and you get to talk a lot next week. ¿Todo bien?
Todo bien.
¿Todo bien? Okay, bien. So you've got the last half of that video, which will be like another 6 or 7 minute chunk, not too long. You've got the questions, and you can watch that whole thing about all these different things that llevar can do. It has lots of jobs. Think of it as a verb that has a lot of jobs. And don't worry too much about traer versus llevar, but focus more on, llevar is used for a lot of things, so it's more important, yeah? Aside from tráigame la cuenta, tráigame un vino, bring me a wine. Aside from that, traer, llevar is what you're going to hear people use a lot and what you want to understand all the different uses of llevar, right? ¿Todo bien?
Sí.
¿Todo bien?
Todo bien, magnífico. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, and take little notes for the rest of the video when there's something that comes up. I don't get why she used this. Make a little note of it. Tell me what minute mark. We're all good. Todo bien, todo bien. ¿Ok? Está bien.
Okay, está bien.
Gracias. Muchísimas
Adiós.
gracias.
Hasta la
¿Sí?
próxima.
Espero que tengan muy buena semana, que tengan buen fin de y sí, nos vemos más tarde, ¿sí?